Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to use Java reflection to use it to detect or determine with a command line how to use which function or which class. So let's get started with this. First I'm going to create a new project either from this icon or from file new project. Okay, so file new project, and then I'm going to choose a Java application with Ant. So next I'm going to call it reflection demo. And here I'm just going to add it to this is the location where I want this file, Java projects. Okay, and I'm going to change the names here. So for this package, I'm going to call it src for source, and then driver is for the main method. The main class, the class that has the main method. So finish. Now I have my code. I'm going to delete this for now. I don't need it. I'm just going to write my name. And here we have the main method. We're going to write our code here. Okay. So I just want to, before we start with the reflection, let's see how to use a command line. Okay. So first I'm going to do this. I'm going to have some code here. So I would like to print some message, okay, and this message the user is going to print. So we have the args, short for arguments. So these are used basically when you call our program. So our program is called driver. So when we have the driver and we give it some arguments, these are going to be used in main, inside main. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So in fact, we have an array of strings or texts. And then each time we call one of them, so this is like unlimited array. So we have args of 0 and of 1 or 2 or 3. These are determined by the user. Okay, so the user is free to add how many arguments, but then the program need to process these arguments. So let's consider args 0, the first argument. Okay, this one I'm going to use it now. So to print a message. So system.out.println, and then this is going to say hello and plus args. Okay, so whatever the message here, okay, or the argument here, it's going to be added to hello. So we can write our names, right? So if we build this software from here, okay, so it's built for us, and then we can use this location, okay, to run our program. So if I copy this here and then open the command line, then I'm going to move to, actually I don't have to move, I can just paste this. But when I do this, it's not going to run because actually there is no argument to use, okay? So the first argument here is not provided, okay? So it says what? Index 0 out of bounds for length 0, because now the string array has a length of 0. Why is that? Because the user did not provide any argument. So then user needs to add at least one. So I'm going to write my name. So what it says, hello, and then the argument, which is my name, right? So let's try to use this with some functions. So now we know that these arguments here are arguments at 0 and 1 and 2 and 3, and only the first one is used. We can add actually more than that, so we can have another argument like copy, something like that, anything, but this is not going to be used. Okay, so what is going to be used? Only the argument at 0, the first one, right? So this is how we use arguments. And to do this in NetBeans, like if we try to run NetBeans from here, okay, we're going to have the same issue, okay, because NetBeans, when it runs this class or this function with or this application without providing any arguments. So what we need to do next is we can just right click on the application properties, and then we add the argument here at run the argument. So we can just write my name here. Okay, so let's see. Now it runs same way. Okay, so this is the first step, how to use arguments, okay, provided by the program to use them inside the run. Now let's consider this application has some functions. I'm going to have only 4 functions, easy functions. So one of them is going to be the add function, and I'm going to make it static. So public static int add, and it's going to add two numbers, so int I and j, and then simply it's going to return I plus j, right? That's it. Now what I want to do is I'm going to use the add here to print something, to print two numbers. So I would say system.out.println, I'm going to keep it, and then here I'm just going to add, to call the add function. So add, and then give 3 or 4, and 4. That's it. So when I call this number, it's going to give me 7, right? Now I want the user to enter the two numbers, and later I want the user to enter the add, the word add. And when the user enters the word add, it's going to use this function. Otherwise, it's going to use another function. So let's see how it works. Now I know that these arguments are string, of type string, so I can say int I equals or assigned integer dot parse int, and then args of 0. Okay, and same for j. Okay, but this one is going to be second. So this, the first one is going to be a number, the second is going to be another number, and here I'm going to give I and j, right? So I is taken from the first argument and then passed to add, and j is taken from the second argument and again given to add, and the add function is just going to sum them together and print the result. Okay, if I run this now, it's going to fail because the argument I'm providing only one argument, which is my name, Hani. Okay, so Hani is going to be added, and it's not I and j. It cannot be converted to two integers. So now I have a problem for string Hani. This cannot be converted. So what should I do now? From here, I can get to this application, properties, and run and add two arguments, 4 and 6 for them. Okay, run, so that's 10. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Or we can build from here, clean and build, and then take this is Java jar, and running this application, and copy this, and in the command line window, I'm going to copy this again. Okay, and then instead of Hani copy, I'm going to write any number, 6, 7. So that's 13. I can write another number, 7, 9, 9. That's 16, and so on. Okay, so this is basically how it works. Now I want to provide the function name. Okay, so not only the argument, but also the function name. Okay, so let's do this using the two ways. First, I'm going to use the if statement first. Okay, and then after that, I'm going to use the reflection. Reflection is going to make it easy. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to have another function. This function is multiply. Okay, and it's going to multiply I by j. So here I need to change this to the asterisk. Okay, now I'm going to say I'm going to have 3 arguments. So I'm going to keep this one as the second one. This one is going to be the third, and string method or operation, I'm going to call it operation, is going to be what? The first argument. Right? So the user is going to add the first argument as add or multiply, and then this is going to be the first argument, and after that the user is going to enter 2 digits or 2 numbers. Okay, these 2 numbers are going to be added or multiplied. So let's see how we do this. So for I'm going to say f operation dot equals, ignore case because the user might add them as capital or small. So if it's add just like that, then do what? Then just write this. Else if the operation is here, I'm going to write mul, okay, for multiply. If this is true, then do this. Use the other function, right? So if we do this, the user is going to write add or multiply. Based on this, add is going to be called or invoked, and multiply is going to be invoked if mul. So let's try and see. So I'm going again to build from here, and then I'm going to have my command line window and 7, 9. Now I need to add an operation. So I'm going to say add and then 4 and 5. So 4 and 5 is 9. So that's true. No, I made a mistake. Okay, 9. So let's try this again and see. Maybe I have 20. Yeah, 9 and 20. So seems, oh, because I have semicolon here. Okay, so this body, this statement is the body of the if statement. If I have semicolon here, this is ignored. Okay, so that's a statement on its own. Okay, so I'm going to build again and then run this again. So add 4 and 5, this should be 9, so it's 9. And then let's see multiply, so I'm going to say MUL, and that's 20, and that's right. Now the problem is, if we have to copy these two and have division, divide, let's say, divide, and we have subtract, okay? And we can have other operations. I don't know which operations, but if we have like hundreds of operations, other operations, right? Then the problem is, now we're going to have multiple if statements. We don't want to do this. Therefore, we can just use reflection. So reflection is going to automatically read this here, okay, and then use it as the function name. Okay, so to make it easy, I'm going to have 3 letters only. So MUL here, okay, div for division, and then sub for subtract. So add, mul, div, and sub. Okay, and then we need to change the operation. So this is going to be addition, and this one is going to be multiplication. That's fine. And then here I divided by j, and then this one is subtraction. Okay, so negative. Now, what we need to do, we need to change this code. Okay, so instead of having add, I'm going to just leave it like now. We're just going to call the method that has add. This is not correct anymore, so either we just remove this, or I'm just going to remove the whole thing just from here. Okay, so what we have is the operation. This is going to be provided by the user, and then I and j provided also by the user. Okay, so how to do the reflection? I'm going to write here reflection. This is the most important part. First, we need to get the class itself. So we need to have like a pointer for this class, the driver class. How we do that? So we have the class object. So it's a defined, a user-defined data type. Okay, so class, and then we can call it my class. So this is going to be this class or my class or whatever you want to call it. So this is going to be my class, and this is a reflection of this class, of the current class. So we have to give it a name. So we have a static method class dot for name. Okay, why it's static? Because it takes the name of the class, and then the method comes after that. That means it's a static method. Otherwise, we need to generate an object and then call for name for it. Okay, so that's a static method. And then it's gonna take what? It's gonna take a string. This string is basically the name of the class. So our class is called src.driver. Okay, so now I have like a pointer for this class, or something that's, or a handle for this class, something that we can catch this class using it. Okay, sorry. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the method, or get the method of this class. So we have 4 methods, right? So let's get one of these methods. Okay, so my class, I'm going to call it class, my class dot get declared method. Okay, so we have, now we need to give the name of the method, okay, and then we need to give the parameter list. Okay, so what is the name of the method? The name of the method is going to be the operation, okay, that is provided by the user. Okay, so the user is going to add to say add or sub or div or mul. Okay, so this is operation. Now the parameter type. Parameter type is just what kind of types here, what are the types of these parameters, and it has to be the same number of parameters. So here we have 2 parameters, then I'm going to pass an array of int here, of type actually. Okay, so let's define this. So to get a type, we need to have a class. Okay, so a class is a representation of a type. So when we say class integer, okay, so this is going to be the integer type, or int is the int type, and so on. Okay, so we need to have an array of class just like that, because we have 2 arguments or 2 parameters. These 2 are having 2 types. Okay, so fortunately these 2 types are the same, so int and int, but sometimes this could be double and int or something like that. Okay, so class is going to be an array. Okay, so I'm going to call it types, and I'm going to have the types of these arguments, so this one and this one, and to get the type is just going to be int.class and int.class. Okay, now if this is integer like this, okay, so it's going to be integer.class. Okay, so whatever the object here or the data type here is going to be the data type.class. Okay, so this is just a representation of the data type. Okay, so we have an array that contains the data type of the arguments, and these arguments are int and int. Okay, this is what we need. So now I'm going to pass these into the parameter types. Okay, so types parameters here. Okay, so now we have a reference or a handle to the method, any method based on the operation. Now we can see here under these words are underlined, or the parameters. Why is that? Because we need to have to let this function throw an exception or just surround it with try and catch, because we might have some exceptions here. So NetBeans is handy in this. So I'm just going to let it do what it suggests. So add the throw statement or clause, and then another one here for this one. Okay, so we have two, and here we have like a warning. That's why it's yellow, and it just says we need to have annotations. So here add throw tag and another one here. Okay, that says for the documentation that this method can throw some exceptions. Okay, if the class is not found, so for example, if this string does not represent any class, so if for example if we have d like this, so there is no class with small d letter. Okay, so there will be exception because of that. And same for this function. If there is no function with this name, there will be no such method exception. Okay, so for example, if the user, instead of writing add, wrote something else, like the user might write something like skip, something like that. So there is no function skip. Okay, that's why it's not gonna work, and then no such method exception will be thrown. So what we need to do next is just invoke this function. Okay, to invoke a function is just to call it. Okay, so actually we need just first to declare this, so as a function. So I'm going to say method my method, and name it anything, is my class.get declared method. Okay, now we need to add the import for the Java reflect method. Okay, so that means handy in this because now I can import this automatically, and then let's see what else. Let's say yeah, we can just leave this like this, and then we have, yeah, this is unused, but we're going to use it. Okay, so just going to leave it just like this, and then now we need to invoke this method. Okay, so we can say system.out.println and then call this method, so my method.invoke. Now this is a tricky part here. If this is a static method, the first one, this is an object, it's just going to be null. Okay, so null. Okay, the second one, second argument, actually it's not a single argument, it's just how many arguments we have for this function. So basically we're passing the arguments from here to the function. Okay, so if we have some arguments here, they are going to go in order to this function add or mul or div or sub. So this is a list of arguments. So the first one is going to be int, the second one is going to be int. So I'm just going to use I and j. So I and j, right? And then again, this method, the invoke method, can throw an exception. So let it be throwing this exception and add the throws tag. Okay. Now do you have something else? Yeah, we have another one. Okay. Illegal access exception, illegal argument exception, and we have another one. Okay, third one. That's invocation target exception. Okay, and then again, let's follow NetBeans with this. Okay, so now it says that this method main can throw these exception. Okay, so now let's run this and see what happens. I'm going to, if I run it just like this, it's going to fail, so I'm just going to build clean and build, and then this is our file. Okay, copy, and then go to the command line here. Just change the size, just like that. Okay, here. So now I'm going to change the size even bigger. Okay, right. So now we have our application ready to run. So I'm going to say Java application, then add 4 and 5. This is going to be 9. Now I'm going to see the division. So this is going to be 0 because 4 divided by 5 is a fraction, and this function is taking and returning integers. So that's 0. And then we can try with something else like 10. This is going to be 2. And we can try with sub. So subtract 5 from 10. That's going to be 5. And we can try what? Try multiply. Okay, so that's 50. Okay, so as you can see here, we don't have to use for loop, okay, or if statement to find which function is used by which. This is really handy when you work with strategy better, in which you have different methodologies or different strategies, and the user is going to enter just the strategy name, and based on this you can just select what kind of strategy. So for example, if this is a sort algorithm or sort application, and you have several sort algorithms, so you can just say sort, and then the second argument could be merge sort, right? And then based on that, you can give the data, and the data could be an array of elements or whatever. So 3, 4, 5, 7, whatever, something like that. Now, the thing is that you need to create a merge sort function here, and this merge sort function is going to call some sorting class. So you're going to have a class that has the sort, merge sort, another class that has the fast sort, for example, and then in here in these functions you're just going to call them. Okay, so this is basically how to use the reflection with command line arguments. I hope this is helpful, and I'm going to post a video soon about the strategies. Okay, thank you and see you soon. Bye.